Hello class, this is the lesson on air masses and fronts, dealing with weather characteristics and weather forecasting. First of all, what is an air mass? A large body of air with similar characteristics throughout. Dealing with two characteristics, temperature and amount of moisture. Where do they form? They take on the characteristics of where they form. Here are the codes that you need to memorize. So first we have continental or maritime, dealing with the moisture, is it dry or wet? And then tropical, polar, or Arctic, which deal with the temperature. If you put these two together, you need to know what they mean. MT, warm and moist. CP, cold and dry. Do they associate with high pressure or low pressure? If it's tropical air, that means it's low pressure. If it's cold air, like polar air, it is higher air pressure. This map shows the type of air masses, where they originate, and then where they move to. Again, different air masses from where they originate and where they move into. Here's your first type of assessment. What type of air mass would you form over each area? Please label them. Once you've labeled them, we'll check our answers. Remember, is it over water? Then it's maritime. If it's over land, then it's continental. Then deal with the temperature, tropical, polar, or Arctic. I hope you got them all right. Here's an animation of a continental polar air mass moving in from Canada. Here's an image of a cold front, with the right side being the cool and dry air. Now here's a warm front, maritime tropical. So you have warm, tropical, wet air from the ocean entering California. Another maritime tropical air coming in from the ocean. Here's another air mass where you'd have to associate the air masses onto the map. Maritime tropical, warm and moist. Continental polar, dry and cool. Once you deal with the air masses, you can associate them with the appropriate fronts. A front is where two air masses of different characteristics meet. Cold and dry air, meeting warm and wet air. So a front is a boundary between air masses. Your reference tables, page 14, has the fronts, their symbols, and their meanings. Here are the four types of weather fronts. The rule: Triangles and bumps, or the half circles, always point in the direction the front is moving. Example: a cold front moving south because the triangles are pointing south. Example B, an occluded front. Example C. Now this one's tricky. You have a stationary front. The cold air is on the south side, moving to the north. The warm air is on the north side, moving to the south. Letter D is a warm front. Which direction is the warm air moving? A warm front moving north. Here's a stationary front with warm air on the south side, with the half circles pointing north, and cold air on the north side, with the triangles pointing south. So here's a typical weather map showing the types of fronts and their associated air mass. This graphic shows a warm front. Warm air moving in from the left side, pushing up and over the cooler air. Here's a cold front. Cold air moving in from the left side, forcing the warm air straight up over the cold air. Here's the cold front again. The cold air pushes the warm air up, creating large clouds, heavy rain, thunder, and lightning. Here's the warm front. The warm air slowly goes over the cold air, light, steady rain, and high altitude clouds. Here's another air mass showing a low pressure in the center and the winds circulating around the warm front and the cold front. Here's your assignment. Using the diagrams of A and B, answer the questions dealing with which one shows a cold front and a warm front and the associated weather predictions. Once you've completed this assignment, there are 2 review videos on air masses, fronts, and weather relationships. After you review them, I want you to take the assessment on the Quizlet. This is the actual exam, and here is your link to the exam. Write your answers in when you completed them. Check your answers at the end. Good luck.